Yeah, so I'm sure you're all familiar with Carl Roy and P.O.T. So P.O.T. had this hit in the 90s, I'm sure you know what it is.
They heard it last week.
Yeah, you got it.
Then where it came from.
The original?
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard the Advisor's version, but did you know there was a guy named Larry Matias?
Yes.
Who had an orchestra version?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Orchestra.
This is big band version. It's like a kung fu movie. So it's like really like blaxploitation influences, funk, that kind of funk.
Yeah.
Alright, another popular song back in the day by that same group, the Advisors. What is the song? I don't know. You guys know the song? It's on the level.
Pala yun.
So yeah, the band Sino Sikat, we had
You gotta move forward to the 80s and 90s.
ito, it's not.
Let's not skip, okay, hang on. You got the 2000s stuff.
90s was the POT. Ito I would say 2000.
Alright, so, okay, so once. Okay, so what I was saying, like what Paolo was saying, Kiki was saying, is that the 80s was sort of different. Yeah, with regards to this genre, the one carrying the torch, so to speak, was the guys, the singers and carryovers from the old show bands from the 70s. I mentioned the names already: Basil Valdez, Gary Veneciano, Tilly Moreno, Rayan Fuentes. This would carry on. Most of those guys, those had developed a following over the years while they were singing, and when they released their albums in the 80s, of course it was a different configuration, but still following it still sort of followed that twist. So R&B and funk, of course, it did not sound the same. It had to move with the times. They needed to contemporize it, so it was synthesized. So, and then the 90s came. Very, very few. It was just basically P.O.T. and
Parliament Syndicate.
yeah, Parliament Syndicate. That band was really kicking.
Yeah, he is a part of it. Parliament Syndicate.
The Parliament Syndicate. But we didn't realize. We didn't realize what we were doing that genre, because we initially started as a fusion slash fusion na may halong
Jazz, acid jazz.
yeah, parang jazz, and then later on parang naging acid jazz, funk.
Also in the 90s, the R&B had changed too. It was more of the hip-hop R&B we know today, which is different from the R&B of, say, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, so if you remember when we said R&B back in the 50s and 60s, R&B was closer to what we know now as blues, actually. Blues with the rhythm section and a driving feel. That's why it was called rhythm and blues in the first place, because Blues started out as just guitar and singer, perhaps another instrument. So when they added drums, bass, and some other instruments in the rhythm section, it became rhythm and blues. So R&B. It was more close to the blues, but 80s came, early 90s, and then 90s. R&B ceased to be what we termed it a few decades before. R&B, closer to hip hop, is what we know now. All that singing with riffing, you know,
Ad-lib.
the ad-lib, parang doon lumabas, parang yun na yung R&B ng 90s.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's very, very few and far between pagdating sa ganun genre. Merong lumabas na parang related doon, but we will we will not go into that detail because we will reserve that discussion when we discuss hip-hop and a little bit of maybe electronic music. So we're gonna lump that with that. And then the 2000s came, and PG, continue the story.
So in the 2000s, yun nga, once again there was a resurgence of the soul in the guise of neo soul. So neo soul, if you're familiar with artists like Erykah Badu, D'Angelo, you know, Jill Scott, these are the groups that kind of made it happen, like made it hip again. So you could say as early as the late 90s even, 97, 98, to the early 2000s, these were the groups spearheading this movement. You know, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, etc. And because of that, spawned all these newer artists who are around today, who we're still using that same term, neo soul. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hiatus Coyote.
Yes.
And you know, like artists like that are just basically building off the same template, but bringing it forward. So like I said earlier, the more you have an understanding of music culture as a tree, and with many branches and sub-branches, the more you'll see that everything is interconnected somehow, and it's just something stemming from something else. So yun.
So who are the artists that worth mentioning in this era? Oh, that era up to the present.
The 2000s. Yeah. So aside from Erykah Badu, D'Angelo.
I mean local.
Oh, locally? Oh, locally. So for me, I think the time I experienced the most, I don't know, maybe the peak of the 2000s for me was 2004, 2005, when you had groups like Sino Sikat, Chili Teens, Yosha, probably Sound. Yeah, these were the guys I feel were probably like, of course, Sago, and like, yeah, that's for me. It was really happening in the mid 2000s. I can't. It's hard for me to find that energy now in the bands today. But I'm sure it's gonna happen again. Everything is moving in cycles. So I still have time.
Yeah, we are about 5-10 minutes, and then we open.
Alright. So
Open for a few questions.
okay. So maybe I'll have a last final talk, and then I'll leave you with my final video. But basically, what I'm saying is, it took me having to get into vinyl culture and look to the past for me to kind of humble myself, because myself, I'm from a hip-hop background. So all this time when I was listening to Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre, I had no idea I was really listening to Parliament, Funkadelic, and James Brown, you know, being looped. So for me to find the main source on vinyl was like drinking old wine. And once you taste the old wine, why would you even want the new, right? So that's what it felt like when I got into vinyl music. I was like, I can't listen to hip hop for 3 months because this is the real shit. So that's what I'm saying. It would be nice for everybody to kind of just like go back and realize that everything we're hearing now is just archetypes. There's nothing new under the sun, really. They're just picking bits and pieces from the past. So whatever you think is hip now, that's just one template out of many, many, many other templates. If you can go further back, you can dig something up for yourself that no one has discovered yet, and then try to find a way to bring it forward. And this is how we can progress in music and not listen to the same old Justin Bieber shit. Yeah. So, it's good. I mean, you don't even have to get into vinyl. All of these materials you find on YouTube, if you know the right keywords, you know what you're searching for, right? All that rare groove shit. So that's what I'm saying. To have an understanding of the past will help us innovate for new future styles, future forms of music. I don't even know what to expect because we're already in 2016. For me, it's crazy that the 2000s are done already. The music now it's different. You have a music that's more geared toward bass music. So bass music is like this sound that's coming out of LA. I'm sure you have classes here as well where they teach you Ableton and sidechain compression, where the beats sound like they're breathing. This is a new sound. And for me, when I first heard that sound, I really liked it. And then I got intimidated because I felt my ways were very outdated. When it comes to making beats, I still use my hardware, Akai MPC, which is a drum machine, and my main source is still vinyl records. But for some reason, like, there's just something about sampling from an analog source that'll give you that warmth that you can't get from something that's USB powered. You know what I'm saying? So, to hear music in the analog realm is different. It's a different way of experiencing it than the MP3 format today. The MP3 format is a very compressed format where they kind of chop off all the highs and the lows and you're just left in the middle. So you don't experience it completely. When you listen to music on vinyl, it's just a different story. So I guess that's one good thing that came out of hip-hop music culture. Maybe the preservation of that sound that we like, that analog warmth that kind of got lost along the way. Because you could try recording these same patterns today in your digital studio, but it's not going to sound the same. It sounds super clean, too clean. I want some dirt. I want some, I want some lo-fi. So, thank you so much for having me today. I'm going to end this session. So, back in 2010, me and my friend, Sinusukai, we invited the lead vocalist, Ting Bernabe of the Advisors, to come play with us in a show in B-side. Wow. And he showed up with this guy, Manuel, who's the original keyboardist of the Advisors. And we kind of just jammed it out there. So I'm going to play this last video for you of that gig, just so you can see the old and the new just kind of merging together. For me, that's like the winning combination. You had a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new, even these NBA teams. You gotta have some OGs like guiding these young bloods, who's so hot. Like, hey man, get this up. That's the winning combination for me. Like, you have an understanding of the old and the new, then you got the combination down. So I'm gonna play this for you. Is the video working? Wait,
patay ka niyo.
September 2010. Flippin' Soul Stompers and one
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they were, that was one of the first few artists to turn to like the One Pop Dream stuff. Really on that mod, northern soul. Like that
Nice
that
place.
blew up in the UK. When everyone with their Vespas and the Motown. That's what was happening.